much for joining. I am Tania Gardère MacLeod, your local Roswell realtor here with eXp. I am joined today by a local business owner, Nate Armstrong. And we are going to do another episode of Tania Talks with our Roswell neighbors. And today we're featuring Nate Armstrong, who is the owner of Big Oak Tavern, which is a restaurant here local to Roswell. And he established this business 2 years ago, and he quickly had to pivot, which you will learn about. And because of that, he led with his heart and decided to do something to give back to the community, creating a whole nother initiative, HeroMeals, which we'll hear about. He's been featured on a lot of great local news networks and getting a lot of publicity, even with Katie Couric. So it's some well-deserved recognition that Nate is getting. And I want all of you to hear some of the great things that we have happening right here in our community in Roswell, but that's not just impacting here in our Roswell community. He's really rippling out and impacting the whole metro Atlanta. So Nate, I can't wait to share your story and your initiatives with everybody. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Well, we appreciate you, and I was so glad to hear your story. And I have been hearing and seeing the great menu and everything that you have there at Big Oak Tavern. But before we get into all of that and everything that you've got going on, I would love to hear just a little bit about your background, how you got into the restaurant industry, and when you opened your doors. Just give us a little background.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, really, I come from a small town called White Pine, South Carolina, which is outside of Aiken, which is thoroughbred country. So as a little kid, I actually spent a lot of time with my grandmother in the kitchen. She actually baked cakes for a living. So having that passion back then and, learning how to bake. I'm not a baker today, so that's not my specialty, but we do a lot of things with food. So, but to go back and, kind of look at, how I grew up and, some of the cooking shows that I saw was, that stands out is like Julia Childs, who flambéed for the first time. And it was like so eye-opening that people literally cook with fire. So at that point, I was just hooked. So from there, I took every foods class in middle school, high school, all the way up into, high school. I took the culinary arts program and ended up getting a scholarship to Johnson & Wales University in Charleston, South Carolina. Worked, throughout there. Actually started my career in Charleston on it's called Spirit Line Cruises. So if anyone's ever been to Charleston and they took this 3-hour tour, usually that's the ship that I worked on. So I learned how to make she crab soup and like a whole bunch of other things, which was like amazing. So to say, I've now been in the restaurant business for 21 plus years. It's an incredible journey.
And you don't look old enough to say that. So I know with that background, hearing that you got to learn a lot about coastal menu items, is that reflected in your menu here at Big Oak Tavern, or did you bring any of those things that you learned in your early years just starting out to what you do now?
Oh yeah, so it's so funny because we actually just so right now, because it's cold and like it's the perfect temperature for she crab soup, and so it's now on the menu, and we also have our signature shrimp and grits. So it's a jalapeno cheese grits with really Creole style shrimp and grits with andouille sausage, tomatoes, onions, and just a whole cream-based deliciousness that is really amazing.
This is a bad time to do that interview because I am just watering at my lips and I'm hungry. My stomach is growling. That sounds amazing. Well, I know one of the things that I noticed about your menu, it is not the normal menu. You've got some really amazing dishes that you create. So tell me, how do you come up with these, and what is your go-to dish that you would say that represents Big Oak Tavern? And then what's like Nate's specialty?
So the shrimp and grits would definitely be my specialty because like that's when I go home, that's what they want me to make.
Okay.
So that's like one of the all-time favorites like throughout my family. So that would be like the ideal thing. But I actually spent 6 weeks writing the menu, and like one of the things that I wanted to do was look for what Roswell had currently versus what they didn't have in our kind of took a blend of and took some unique approaches to like a lot of dishes, like the buffalo cauliflower. That would be like one of the favorite appetizers. So it's actually like flash fried and then tossed in buffalo sauce with blue cheese crumbles and green onions, and like is the most delicious appetizer you can ever imagine. And it's almost the same consistency of eating a buffalo wing.
Wow. Would you say that those are some of the best sellers and what people come to Big Oak Tavern for?
Yeah, I would say that would be like one of the number ones. And of course, to have like vegetarian options and vegan options available here at Big Oak Tavern is like one of the main staples too, because we want to have something for everyone. But the big thing is, like, I've just spent 9.5 years at a steakhouse. So what I wanted to do is create a great steak at an affordable price. So we specialize in, a filet and a ribeye. So it's two items that I think we do very well. And it's not your, hey, we're going to eat at Little Alley tonight. So because it comes with two side items and, it's super affordable and it's delicious. So we actually have our own Big Oak seasoning that we almost put on, I would say 85% of all of our dishes here. So you can literally season anything with the Big Oak seasoning.
Is that available for the consumers to buy?
It is absolutely available.
Okay.
And we actually have a new label being printed that should actually be like finalized and like in my hands by the end of next week. But we do have bottles available right now that I'm actually hand signing because it's our initial first batch.
Well, you can sign me up for a batch. I'll place it. That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's great. So I want to go back and tell a little bit about, obviously you opened doors at a time that was just not ideal for starting a new business. So this was your first opportunity at being the business owner, owning the restaurant. So you opened doors February 2020. And you quickly got shut down because of COVID and had to pivot. So this is what I want to hear a little bit about that. Can you share with everybody here what happened? You opened doors and then what?
So we had an amazing grand opening. So actually we partnered with Homestretch, which is a local charity here. And actually some of the proceeds went to help them. So we wanted to create like our first initial launch of like being here for the community. So that was like our first official, hey, this is our give back to like the community. But to say, no one knew, like a month and a week later that we'll be mandated shut down by, the state of Georgia. So it was very, very scary because, the first couple of days that I would say that Monday of the shutdown, we did $27. So our first week in the shutdown, I think we did a total of maybe $1,100, which doesn't like quite do anything. If you've ever like seen a gas bill or even a water bill at a restaurant. So it was very scary. So I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, because at that time it was, we just opened, we, did all this, we spent so much money just trying to get this place open, up and running, and liquor license and all that stuff. So I never gave up. And I think one of the things, one of my friends, Mike Thomas, actually approached and said, hey, you know what, this could be a great opportunity for you. I'm thinking about launching this thing called the school meal program. So initially I was like, it's for the kids. There's underprivileged kids in Roswell, count me in. Yeah. So, and it was amazing because we had the opportunity to provide 1,250 meals to that school meal program in 3 months, which was amazing. So it felt great. And then we started to think about, what else we could do for the community. So,
but how were you doing that if you're not selling, right? And you're not making money and you can't pay the bill to lease the building, to, the gas, the water, the thing, staff, yourself, your own mortgage, life. If you're not able to take care of yourself and the bills, how are you giving, right? How does that initiative?
So a lot of, or really all of that, that was community based. So, and that actually helped get our name out into the community. because we only opened for a month. So no one knew that, hey man, we need to go support Big Oak Tavern.
Yeah.
So between that and then, the school meal program, and then we actually sponsored a 2-day blood drive, which we were able to partner with like 7 different companies or groups, which also helped, get our name out in the community. And then we started to do these family meals.
Yes.
So the family meals, I mean, when we first started, when you look at like how many restaurants got shut down, and then if you look at the big distributors, they have all this product that they also need to get rid of. So instead of taking that incentive and then, profiting off of it, we passed it down to people because so many people lost their jobs.
Mhm.
So our family meals initially started at, I think $20 or $25 for a family, and they fed a family of 4. So you can get a whole chicken, smoked or fried, and it came with 3 side items, dessert, rolls, and a sweet or unsweet tea for $25.
Now our prices are a little higher than that right now, because I know that I didn't get in on the $25 family meal, but but that's an amazing, because you're obviously taking a hit or not profiting like you could by
Right.
offering that to local families to come and pick up your meal and still enjoy the luxury of a great, high-end meal from a restaurant like yours at an incredibly affordable price.
Right.
So that's amazing.
So that was a goal. So I think once we really launched the family meals, that really put us like on the map, because I mean, it was super affordable. I mean, I think the most expensive one at that time was, I think, $35 or $40. And that was like a steak dinner. Yeah. But it was still, it's 4 8 to 10 ounce ribeyes that were, I mean, it's a lot of food. So if you ever had one, then it's like, oh my gosh, like we're eating and we have enough for tomorrow. So we wanted we wanted the community to know that, yes, we're going to be here and we just need your help. And literally the family meals alone almost just kept us afloat, because I didn't profit off anything, but I was still able to maintain like the restaurant. And that's the important piece, because literally we want to be here for the community. So we'll always do like the best thing for everyone. And then, as we continue to talk, then hopefully it'll kind of rally around like who we are as a Big Oak Tavern and as, Nate Armstrong. Like I'm just from a small town, so I don't expect, I do want to be rich one day.
Yeah. Well, when you lead with your heart and you create initiatives like this, when you can't even think about how you're going to pay your brand new restaurant that you're starting, your staff, your electric bills, your house, and forget about our home, like our mortgage, our cars, and all of the other bills that we have going on. And your first thought is, how can I give to the community? How can I get on board with the meals program for not just the families, for the underprivileged children? That's crazy that you would lead with your heart and do something like that. And that's clearly the kind of person that people want to get behind and rally behind and help support. And so now share how you decided to take that another step further and bring it to the frontline workers, and what you started with the whole HeroMeals. Right. Give a little background on that and how that's, where we're going with that still. Yeah.
So one of the things is, like, my wife has been in healthcare business for a long time. So she has a lot of friends that work in the hospitals and also that work in the service, who is like a Marine and like a few other things that, they're always on the front line and they always put their lives at risk. So one day I just thought of like, man, we should have an outlet to say thank you to these people that really are here to save us. So we created the Hero Meal Initiative back in 2020. So we were able to provide, I think we fed nine ICU COVID units, 2 fire departments and Roswell Police Department in 2020. So that equates to over 650, 700 meals. But then, we actually put it on the website, and like still up there today that you can, place a to-go order, and then you can also buy a Hero Meal. And then what we do with that is, once we get enough funds, we'll go still deliver, these Hero Meals to, a local hospital or a small office building, just depending on how many meals we've raised like that month. But now we have recently relaunched our HeroMeals. And what we want to do is refocus, because everything was like hyper local. And now this time we want to focus on growing into the entire state of Georgia. So our goal now is to provide 20 to 30,000 meals in the next 6 months. And I guess the messaging piece that I really want to relay is, yes, COVID might spike here and there, but we literally have every frontline worker that has been working for 2 years and counting. And this is an opportunity for the community to say thank you to these frontline heroes. So our commitment is, like, it doesn't matter how long it takes to provide these meals, but our goal is to feed over 100,000 meals to the frontline heroes in the state of Georgia. So that means we are willing to travel to, like, cook on site to these places that are not even close to us, because it's the simple thank you. And it's like, no one has an outlet to say thank you for, giving me a vaccine, or thank you for giving me my rapid testing. So, and thank you for, like, putting your life at risk to save mine. So yeah, just to say, like, a thank you is like my big dream and my passion right now. So that's our primary focus at Big Oak Tavern.
And I think one of the things I want everybody to know is that you can get behind this whole initiative and be part of the momentum that he's building to give back and say thank you to these frontline workers. He's created a GoFundMe page that's right on his bigoaktavern.com website. There'll be a pop-up that shows up that you can see there. He's also created a tax deduction. So there's a link that you can use if you're a big corporation, a small business, and you want the tax deduction side of things. You can partner with him that way as well and get it tax-free. And there's a separate link for that. So I'll be sure to link all of those below in the show notes, but I think it's really important for all of us to know that we have an outlet. We have a way we don't have to create the whole idea, be the brains behind it. We can help fund Nate, who's already put all of the blood, sweat, and tears and money to start this initiative. Let's keep that momentum going, and let's see what we can do to give and help that GoFundMe platform fill up to raise his goal so he can meet that 100,000 meals provided in the state of Georgia. I mean, that's just mind-blowing. He's already reached, I think it was just last week, he already reached 1,000 meals delivered in the first 2 weeks of this year. So you guys are making a difference by each and every donation that you make. So I really want to encourage all of us to, whether it's $5, $10, $25, all of that makes a huge difference and impact. And know that these aren't like hamburgers that he's delivering. I mean, these are high-end, wonderful meals, like mashed potatoes and steak at the ribeye, or salmon, like green beans, like amazing Brussels sprouts. Like, I've seen some of the meals that you're sending out. It's the same that we would order when we would sit down and dine at your restaurant. Now, another thing, I know that right now you're back closed again. You closed doors at the end of December. And so I say closed doors, but meaning he's not open for dining and seating, but you can still do takeout. So the family meals are still going strong. People can still order a meal for family of 4. And again, these are incredible, incredible meals that he's putting together for you and I to go and enjoy as a takeout, but also to donate, that he's delivering the same kind of meals and quality to these frontline workers. So when they get a thank you, I mean, it's not just like a Chick-fil-A sandwich. This is a gourmet, beautiful, incredible meal that they're getting.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So to kind of like play off of that too, is like, I don't care if you can only donate $1, because it's still the thank you piece. So, like, yes, I would love a larger donation, but I would be just as happy for someone to donate $1 to the cause, because every dollar counts.
So I know when I'm experiencing a lot of the takeout, I'm still giving the tip as if I was having them wait on me hand and foot inside of a restaurant of a minimum of 20%, and just helping those businesses. And so instead of giving the tip, or are you taking the tips and putting that towards your big heroes? Or is there a way for people to think about, instead of doing the tip, pay for your takeout, but then add the donation of the hero meal as your tip, kind of a thing? Is that
no? So we still have servers here that work day in, so they actually they get tipped. So
okay, so let's do both
for them to like pay them as well. So I mean, it's a great outlet. So, and absolutely, we decided to, go to takeout only and focus on, the safety. Because one thing that I can't and like wholeheartedly be open to a restaurant and then say, I want to feed the frontline workers. So yes, it's about safety. Yes, it's about, keeping my family safe and keeping the staff safe, but it's also about, all right, so if I'm going to do this for the frontline workers, I also have to do my part and help stop the spread.
Yeah.
So right now, because of COVID and its spiked, we decided to close the restaurant to kind of keep everybody safe and also do our part. So that's why, it's so, I'm so excited about this initiative, because I think it's for a great cause. It's for the right reasons. And like, I just want everyone to like understand that it's not about, making money, but it's really about saying thank you to the people that have really taken care of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that you need to be commended, for, and really everybody in our community. I hope you guys are hearing and you can see the passion that he has, and you can see it when he speaks, you can see that it's coming from within. And so that's the kind of person, human being, individual, business owner that I want to get behind and support. So I know I'm going to also be making this part of my mission when I have a closing with anybody who mentions Big Oak Tavern, that I will make sure that I make a portion of my commission be donated to your HeroMeals to help support that initiative. So I want to get behind you and encourage you and empower you as much as I can also, and share the word and the message. But a little bit of sidebar, I'd love to find out a little bit about what you do on your spare time. Like, what do you do when you're not doing HeroMeals and you're not cooking and creating menus and things? What does Nate Armstrong do for fun? What do you do?
Oh, so fun. So it's a few things. So I'm on 2 boards here in Roswell. So Star House is one. So right now we're about to have the beer festival, and everything is about like the community. So like I'm super passionate about being here in Roswell, because like I've literally been here for like so many years, not as a business owner, but also as a general manager, and then just as a visitor in Roswell. So like Roswell has always impressed me with like its down home family feel. So I also have, a wife and 2 boys. My oldest is 10 and then my youngest is 4. So they run me ragged. So we play hide and go seek, and we ride bicycles. And so a lot of my downtime is like spending with them. But they also do swim and a whole bunch of other active sports to try to keep me young.
Yeah, they do that. Now, what do they know about what you and your wife are doing? Do they understand what you're doing with this whole HeroMeals and the meals program for this underprivileged children? Are they involved at all? Do you ever bring them in to help them prepare some of the meals or anything like that? I mean, I know they're young, but is there anything that you're trying to pass that on so they understand why daddy's got to work a little bit later tonight and what daddy's doing when he's away at work?
Yeah, I mean, they get it. So we do a lot of give back. So, when like, luckily we've been blessed, and, we do the whole donation piece. So we donate toys at the end of the year. So that way, it makes room. One, it makes room for more toys, but also it gives them the opportunity to learn how to share to more underprivileged kids. And sometimes it's so eye-opening for them, like to see, I guess, poverty in like an area that you wouldn't believe that was prevalent, like in 2022. So like, I'm so proud of like what they do, and they like when we say, hey, it's time to do this, then they're all for it, and they'll go get some of their favorite toys to like take to some of these people. And so to interact and actually being, a board member with Star House and having the opportunity to, go hang out with some of those kids, it's amazing to see, how passionate they are. And you would never know, like, they would be in the situations that they are. So, and I think it's big of my kids well, at least my oldest. I don't think my youngest understands the whole concept yet, but he still is excited to give toys and like do all of this fun stuff. So
I think that speaks volumes to you and your wife, teaching them young and showing them how giving from the heart just really can impact not just you, not just your community, but really, I mean, you're really making an impact here in Metro Atlanta. So when we're looking at being a business owner, what is maybe your favorite thing that you've discovered as being a business owner, or maybe something that just completely surprised you that you did not expect, good or bad? You know, tell us.
Well, I'll tell you, the great thing about it is, one thing, I guess the biggest thing is, I spent my last 5.5 years in a corporate restaurant where I was a general manager, but I never got to any say of like what I could do for the community. So my favorite thing is no one can tell me what I can do for the community now. And everything that I've done in the community has kept me open for 2 years. So I'm like super proud to say that everything that I've ever wanted to do in a corporate restaurant, I've done in my own restaurant, and we're still here and we're still thriving and growing. So
yeah. So what I know we talked about this before, but why Roswell? I know you said you felt like it was something that was different than a lot of the other cities that we have throughout Metro Atlanta. And I know you chose the name Big Oak Tavern because you happen to have a big oak outside of your restaurant. But talk to us a little bit about the meaning behind the oak tree and the name Big Oak Tree for you, and what it means and symbolizes for your company being in Roswell.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, when we took over this place, it was called the Grub Gastropub. And that was, it sounded like a restaurant that I didn't tell anyone else, but worked at the Grub Gastropub, more or less was one of the owners of the Grub Gastropub. So it was kind of one of those things where, all right, so we need to come up with like a great name and something that's very meaningful in Roswell, in the Roswell community. So I was actually sitting down at the bar one day and I was looking outside and I was looking at the oak tree, and I just started to think about, what the oak tree represented. And I was like, oh my gosh, we can call this place Big Oak Tavern. And because that big oak tree, has a history here in Roswell. So, our ultimate goal is to grow with the community. So what better representation than a huge oak tree that's over 100 years old in Roswell. So that's exactly what we want to be. We want to be someone that's going to not only be here in Roswell, but grow with Roswell. So, and that's the whole community piece and the whole passion behind, what we do. And it's something that I've always wanted to do is, have an outlet to where, or even a platform to where I can like help the community grow and evolve.
Well, we are so glad you set your roots right here in Roswell, because we need more people like you that really are setting the example for our younger kids, for our community, and showing kids that, anything is possible. Starting a restaurant in the midst of COVID, being shut down and thriving. Not very many people have that same story. So I think you're a true inspiration for a lot of folks. And I just really appreciate you sharing your story and, inspiring all of us and being part of our community, but not just here, like I said, not in just Roswell, but, impacting the whole Metro Atlanta and with your goal of helping all of Georgia. Those are lofty, lofty goals. So before I let you go, I would love for you to share maybe something that we wouldn't know either about Nate Armstrong or about Big Oak Tavern that you just want us to know. We know about your initiatives. We know about giving back, the struggles. Is there anything that maybe we wouldn't know that would be kind of a neat thing for us to know about you or your business that is important?
One of the unique things is this house actually has like a well in the, so I heard it was haunted, but yeah, this place in the basement has a well that hopefully one day we can build out and make it a feature, because this house was built in 1890s. Yeah. So it's a very old building. It's a historic building, which is like amazing. So just to be like to say I've now like being from a small town and to come and like have the opportunity. I've been featured on so many media outlets, one, because of the pandemic. So when I look at the pandemic, I look at it as a blessing and a curse first, but now a blessing now, because of so many platforms that I've been on, like Atlanta Eats and Katie Couric and, you know, in the AJC and, you know, all of those great things. So it's just so exciting that I can actually use my voice and create something great for someone.
Well, that you have done, and I'm just so grateful that we get to have you here locally, and I can't wait for you to open your doors again, and we can come and sit and enjoy your wine and your incredible menu that you do. Oh, I know one thing I wanted to mention and have you expand upon. I didn't do this, but I know we talked about last time is how you like to pair up with Deep Roots. And that's kind of one of your passions, and how you kind of create these themed dinners sometimes too. So I think that's something interesting that maybe a lot of people wouldn't know. I would love to share that part of it too, if you can expand on that a little bit.
Oh yeah, so absolutely. So we've, so I mean, I love Deep Roots. I mean, they are like our true partners since my first day in the building. So we've probably done over 14, 15 events throughout the year. And I mean, they are incredible. So what we do is we write a menu, and it's not, you know, just American cuisine. Again, I've been a chef for 21 years. So, you know, sometimes I like to go like off the beaten course. So we've done Caribbean themed meals and Mediterranean meals and West African meals. And, you know, we actually do so many different tastings. And now we're getting into like the wedding season. So we do different types of cuisines for them as well. So when we have like a spirit dinner or a wine dinner or beer versus wine dinner, it's so fun and it's so amazing that, you know, we get to like just have fun with food, which is so different than our regular menu, that it will always be different and it will always be unique. So it will keep you coming like to these events. But the great thing is like, so we just actually had a West African Mediterranean cuisine infused tasting for a wedding that's upcoming in October. And I was so impressed. I was like, I've never made West African food ever in my life. And now I love it. Like, to
so is that something you catered there? How did you do that? Did they host it in your restaurant when you were open?
Yeah, so we'll invite them in and we'll do a tasting.
Okay.
So
Okay.
And we'll cook maybe 4 or 5 different items to, you know, give them a sense of, you know, what we can do.
Okay.
And then we can expand upon like what they want. If they wanted to add on additional things, or, you know, they have their own ideas. But we're really good. Well, I'm really good at actually like taking it and putting my own twist and just having fun with it, because food is my life. So like, I'm super passionate about it, and yeah, and luckily people love it.
Well, and the good thing is people always have to eat, but we don't always get to eat great food like what you're preparing. So it makes it really exciting when you have something that's, number one, unique, and number two, that's changing. You know, you do something that's a little different than the normal menu. We get to experience a themed menu, whether it's paired with a spirit or a wine or something. That's amazing. So how do people find out about those events when you're doing those pairings? I know Deep Roots advertises that. Do you advertise it? Is it something that we get on a new e-newsletter we can sign up for? Or tell us how
so
we can...
if you go to www.bigoaktavern.com, what the first thing that's going to prompt up is our Hero Meal initiative.
Yep.
But if you wait about 10 seconds, our newsletter subscription will pop up. So if you join our newsletter, like all of that is relayed in that that subscription. Perfect. And also if you follow us on Big Oak Tavern on Instagram, so or Facebook. So everything is Big Oak Tavern. So at Big Oak Tavern on Facebook, and bigoaktavern.com.
And I'll make sure to link everything down below, in addition to your GoFundMe, so everybody can make that donation, but you can still find that directly on his website, thebigoaktavern.com. That's the pop-up that he was referring to. And then I'll also make sure I include the link for tax deductions, because that is something that you just had a great donation from Synovus, I saw, for $1,000. And yes. So these corporations can get behind this initiative and feel like they're giving back to the community as well. So if you happen to be a big corporation or know somebody somebody who's in a position that could make those decisions to get behind an initiative like that, please, please, please reach out to Nate. He's on, like we said, Facebook and Instagram at Big Oak Tavern, bigoaktavern.com. And we'll put all of those down below, but please get behind this incredible man who is putting this great initiative, leading with his heart, making a difference and a difference in a great way. So Nate, thank you a million times for all that you do. We appreciate you being here, and just can't wait to see what comes about from this. And I hope that this brings you more and more success, and that we get to have another interview after you've reached that 100,000 meals.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so excited. So thank you for the opportunity as well. So I look forward to seeing you soon when we do reopen.
Absolutely. I'll be signing up for number one. I want to get some of your special spices that you're doing. And then I also want to sign up for some of the next pairings that come up.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right. Well, Nate, thank you so much again for being a part of this. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you guys for watching. And please do share this when you get a chance to watch this. Share it on your Facebook page, share it on your Instagram, wherever it is, send an email, tag your friends. We want to get Nate the most exposure we can for Big Oak Tavern, because this is the kind of initiative, the kind of people in business that you want to help support. We need his roots to be strong so he can stay here and grow and be another 100 years, and he can be part of the community like he said he wants to for the long term. So let's get behind this and help him and share that. And you can join our Roswell Facebook group. Also, We Are One Roswell, and we'll be sharing all of the business features in there as well. So thanks again for watching, and we look forward to the next episode. Take care.
Awesome.